Hello students, today I am going to explain the next concept, contact forces. So in that the first one is muscular force. So just recall the daily life experiences. Can you push or lift a book lying on a table without touching it? Or can you lift a bucket of water without holding it? When we apply the some force, like when we push a some book lying on the table or when we lift a bucket of water, so that we apply the some force. So where does the force comes from? So this force is caused by the action of muscles in our body. Remember that this force is caused by the action of muscles in our body. The force resulting due to the action of muscles is known as muscular forces. The force resulting due to the action of muscles is known as muscular forces. So this force is also used in animals. The animals is also uses this muscular forces. The animals also make use of muscular force to carry out their physical activities. So muscular force can be applied only when it is contact with an object. Remember that muscular force can be applied only when it is contact with an object. So it is because of that reason it is called a contact forces. Okay. The next one is friction forces. So the next contact force is friction. See here example. A ball is rolling along the ground, gradually slows down and finally comes to rest. That means if the ball is rolling along the ground and gradually it will becomes, the speed will decreases and finally the ball will comes to rest. Similarly, when we stop pedaling a bicycle, it gradually decreases its speed and finally it comes to rest. So see here, so what the force, okay, see here, so in all the situations, that means in two examples, no force appears to be acting on the object, at there the speed gradually decreases and they comes to rest. So it is the force of friction between the surface of the ball and ground that brings the moving ball to rest. This force is called a friction force. This force is acting between the surface of the ball and the ground. See here, if this is the surface, the ball will rolling down. The rolling down on this surface and after some time it will come to rest here. So here there is no force is appears. Yes, but there is a force is present. So what is the force? The force is friction force. This friction force will act between this surface of ball. This is the ball surface and this is ground. This this is the friction force is act between the ball surface, the surface of the ball and the ground. So this force will brings the moving ball to rest. Okay. So and one more thing here, the force of friction is always acts on all the moving object and its direction is always opposite to the direction of the motion. So see here, this is the ball moving in this direction. This is the surface or a ground. Okay, after some time the ball will come to rest here. So because the friction force is applied, but this friction force is always opposite to this motion of an direction of an object. Remember that this is the friction force. This friction force is always opposite to the direction of a motion of an object. So this force is arises due to contact between the surface. One more thing is important. This force is arises due to contact between surface. See here, this is the ball surface, this is the ground surface. So this surface is arises due to contact between these two surfaces. This is called the friction force. There are two types of contact force. One is muscular force, another one is friction force. So here contact force means this is a contact between two objects. So here in the muscular force, the contact between the object and the muscles of our body. In the friction force, this is the contact between the surface of the object and the ground. Okay, there are two types of force. Okay,